What's up guys, Rich here with William Wood's Valiant. And this Valiant is in rose because of the rose gold bezel and the rose gold markings on the bezel inlay. It's in 41 millimeters, 47 lug to lug. It's 13.8 millimeters tall, but because of that seriously domed sapphire crystal in the center, it's up to 14.6 millimeters tall. And it uses a 20 millimeter strap width. This is an outrageously comfortable strap made out of recycled British Firefighters hoses, and we're going to talk about this later because it's just a wonderful strap. So by now, William Wood has really taken off in recent years to be a really recognized and respected brand. But if you're not sure who William Wood is, well, he was the grandfather to the brand owner, Jonny Garrett, and he served in the British firefighter service for 25 years. But sadly, he passed away in 2009. But fast forward to 2016, and that's where Jonny Garrett started William Wood watches as an homage to his grandfather and to British firefighters. And I think there's just enough elevated touches to help distinguish the Valiant from other divers in the same price category. I think whether or not you're a firefighter supporter or not, I think these details here are subtle, but they're definitely there at the same time for those of us who really support the firefighters worldwide, really. So starting on this dial, we see their logo at 12 o'clock, and that is the side profile of a British firefighter's helmet. That same logo also carries on as an ingot in the crown there, and that's made of 1920s recycled brass helmets. So we'll see this logo throughout different parts of the watch and accessories as well. But staying on the dial, we can see on the counterbalance seconds hand, that's a chime bell that's in the firefighters' houses. And those markings along the outer of the chapter ring, those are visible on British firefighters' trucks. So I think there is a lot of great details in here, and I think it's not a gimmick. I think when something is done sincerely or genuinely, it just comes together really nicely. It's also a sandwich dial with green underneath that is loomed with Swiss Superluminova. So staying on the dial, one area that I wasn't sure how I felt is that it has two different fonts, right? Under the logo at 12 o'clock, it's a signature font that says William Wood. And then beneath that above 6 o'clock, it says in a different font, London, where the brand is housed. It's water resistance, and it says automatic. But I did learn to like it rather quickly because, like I said, that where it says William font, that's a signature, like an autograph almost. So I think that actually works quite well to have two different fonts on this dial. This crystal, as I mentioned, is a seriously domed sapphire crystal, but it's also tinted with a medium blue. And why is that interesting? Because I think you might be able to see it here. It's a little hard to pick up in video, but I think the dial itself is black, but because the crystal is tinted in a medium blue, it's really more of a bluish gray. And I think with that green superluminova, or that's underneath the indices, it makes it really pleasant and really fun to look at. And coupled with the warmth of the rose gold around the bezel, it just makes it really, I enjoy looking at this watch all day long. Again, I think it just comes together really well when something is done genuinely instead of just playing off of maybe what some might consider as a gimmick using the firefighters theme. This is actually really genuine all around here. It's a fully brushed case, and it just has that premium look. It has a definitely premium feel in the hand. So we have to talk about the strap because I think this is just outrageously comfortable and one of my favorite rubber straps of all time so far, at least. And I'm a really big fan of isofrane straps, which are outrageously comfortable as well. But there's just something about this. And this is not scented in vanilla like a lot of rubber straps. It just has a very subtle rubber smell, but I think that adds to its authenticity. So the strap is made of recycled British firefighter hoses, again, keeping in consistent with the theme. And to be transparent, it is the center portion of that rubber that is made of recycled firefighter hoses. The outer portion, I believe, is made of just regular rubber that is molded together. So each of these straps will look individual because of the portion of the recycled firefighter hoses that we're getting, but just outrageously comfortable. On the back, it uses the quick release spring bar, so no tools are required to change out the strap. So while we're staying on the case back here, what is the movement that is powering the Valiant? Well, there are two versions in the identical look, identical case, identical everything. But the first version uses a Seiko NH35 automatic movement, and that one is priced about $950. I think that version is priced a little aggressively. My version here, which is a limited edition, I think mine is number 110 of 250, uses the Swiss Solita 200 automatic movement. And I think there is a stronger argument to be made about the price using the Solita movement, because there are a lot of other divers that use the same movement, but I think there are a lot, like I said, a lot more elevated touches to help distinguish the Valiant from those other divers in the same price category. Where I'm talking about $1,600, I don't think that is overly priced for everything that we're getting. Now, a Solita movement can go anywhere to plus 20 to 30 seconds, actually more like plus 20 seconds a day in accuracy. But mine, I've been getting plus 8 to 10 seconds a day in accuracy. So that is nothing to complain about. And I'm not sure if William Wood regulates those movements, but for that kind of accuracy, it would suggest that they do, and they should make a bigger, more noise of that to what they do to the actual movement. We can see that a lot of gold on this exhibition case back, and there again is their Firefighters helmet side profile on their rotor right there. Just a lot to really like about this watch. And while I just sang the praises, and I really, really love this strap, there are a couple of points worth noting. I think one is this clasp here. While the case is nicely finished, it's fine. It's actually has a nice smooth finishing to it. The clasp, and there it is, branded William Wood, is in a polished finishing. I think it's a little at odds with the case. But more than that, the case is fine. It's nice, but I think the clasp is a little bit on the cheaper end. I wasn't expecting a Grand Seiko Zaratsu type polishing on it, but this one is a very basic polished finishing. I think I would have preferred if they went with the polished finishing, at least a couple of levels of a higher grade than this, because this is an extreme basic polished finishing. And on the case back, now this is more of a preference, just worth noting. I think there might have been a missed opportunity to use a solid case back, and keeping with the theme of the Firefighters theme, it could have been, instead of their helmet, maybe like a fire hydrant spouting water or something like that. I thought there was a little bit of an opportunity missed there. Neither of these points worth noting is going to take away from my recommending this watch, because I can easily recommend this watch. So spoiler alert, I am recommending this watch. I also want to point out the presentation, because it is a really nice presentation. This is the leather watch roll that it comes in, and there again is their logo of the British Firefighters helmet. And inside, and William Wood does a lot to encourage us from getting extra straps, and these are just great straps. This one is an olive, but I also, this is my preference, because these are pillows versus cushions. And why is that important? If I've said it before, since I have smaller wrists and I often have to take out several links to a bracelet, it's almost impossible for me to fit that bracelet closed on a pillow, but on a cushion. But on a pillow, I easily can. So like this one, I can easily fit extra watches on here. So this is a great presentation that comes with this watch, this leather 3-slot watch roll. So I think we're coming back to the watch. It's just a really, really great to look at. Like I said, with that black dial that's underneath, but because of the tinted crystal, that bluish gray, coupled with the green underneath the indices and that rose gold, it's really just really pleasant to look at. I do want to point out that when I said that the bezel and the markings is rose gold, it's actually rose gold plated, but it just looks really rich. I really like the warmth of this. And all of the William watch models have some theme to the Firefighters, hence Valiant, as well as their entire collection. Just a really great diver. So if we're looking for a divers with just enough of these elevated touches and on a watch that uses a great recycled rubber strap, I definitely can recommend, and I would think that any William Wood watch is worth a closer look. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you the next time.